This is Hell's Canyon Dam on the Snake River in between Idaho and Oregon. It's the end of the line for salmon migration on the Snake River. Despite what you've heard, fish are able to migrate the lower Snake just fine. When adult salmon reach this part of the river, they're collected in that station right down there and are transported upstream to the Oxbow fish hatchery. Juveniles from that hatchery are later released here in the river to continue the next generation of salmon. This dam and the other two Idaho power dams have a complicated history with salmon on the Snake River. It was always known that these three dams would block upstream migration of adult fish, but it was not a problem to capture them here below the dam and then transport them upstream to continue their journey to the spawning grounds. The logic was that their descendants as juveniles would naturally make their way through the three dams and then all the way out to the ocean just like every other fish run. In artificial reservoirs deeper than 150 feet, it is almost impossible for juveniles to find their way downstream. And so after construction, while the adults did make it up to the spawning grounds, the juveniles never made it out to the ocean. This was way back in the 1960s, when a lot less was known about the migratory habits of these species. And it's pretty obvious that today we have a lot more tools at our disposal to help these struggling species. But this is where politics gets in the way, because we're on the border between Oregon and Idaho. And those two states have very conflicting ideas about what supporting the species looks like. The state of Oregon wants fish ladders on every dam in the state. Yeah, that's a dumb idea and a waste of time. These dams are much too tall and there are less traumatic ways of getting adult fish over the dams. Meanwhile, the state of Idaho wants nothing to do with restoring fish habitat on the stretch of the river. Remember, several of these fish are listed on the Endangered Species Act, a system of laws that pretty much trumps everything else when it comes to management of their ecosystem. Adding all those layers of regulation would wreak havoc on Idaho's economy and ecology. And so now you have the Idaho Power Company caught in the middle between two arguing state governments. It's a deadlock that needs to be addressed with real science and real solutions. Right now, neither state government's plans make a whole lot of sense. Until then, the three dams of the Snake River Complex are generating clean, reliable hydropower for the people of the Pacific Northwest with no additional carbon in the atmosphere.